Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jebediah. Today we're going to talk about duck calls. When, why, where to use them, the different kinds. If you're new to hunting, this is going to be very helpful for you, so stick around. Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about different duck calls, when, why, where to use them, all that fun stuff. So we're going to hop right into it. If, by the way, you're wanting to know how to duck call and the techniques on how to do that appropriately, I have another channel on my video I made a few years ago. Forgive me, I made it in the middle of duck hunting in a blind, and so it's a little bit sporadic because I was actually hunting while I made it. But this is all about the calls themselves. Why would you pick the ones that you're picking, especially if you're new to hunting or newer to hunting, and you don't want to drop 100, 150 bucks on a duck call if it's not going to be the one that fits you and the style and the hunting type that you're doing. So watch this first before you go out and buy a bunch of different stuff. We're going to hop into a few different types of calls. So in front of me, I have my lanyard that I use, and then I have even actually my children's lanyards also as well, and then also some spares that I've wasted money on that I don't use at all. Which actually, this is a goose call, and so is this one, but let's not get into that. So with duck calls, you have a few different options of material. First kind of material is you're going to have wood. Wood calls are great because they have a very natural sounding resonance to them. Their tone is much more usually even, whereas you could have acrylic calls. This is an acrylic call. This call gets really loud. So if ducks are far away, if I'm hunting open water, then I'm going to use an acrylic call because it can get so loud, whereas if I'm getting into areas that are usually like smaller, tighter areas, I'm going to use a wood call because that call won't travel as far, but it's going to sound maybe richer than an acrylic would. And then you're going to have obviously your plastic calls like this one right here. So plastic is a great affordable option, especially when you're getting into the duck call kind of world. So don't feel like you need to go out and buy an acrylic call for 150 bucks. Just buy a plastic call, buy a wood call, and we're going to get to my recommendations at the very end of this video. So stick around, we'll get to my recommendations. But you have acrylic, you have wood, and you have polycarbonate plastic. Those are the three different kinds. Poly is your mid-range, acrylic is going to be your high-end, very expensive, but also loud, and then you're going to have wood. It's going to be a warmer, natural tone. So that's the difference between different call types. Now, even within different calls, you're going to have different reed numbers. Now, a reed is just simply the thing that actually vibrates. This is a wind instrument, just like a clarinet would be, or just like a saxophone would be. In the tip of this, you're going to see there's a reed. That reed vibrates over the board here and creates a tone. That's how it makes the sound. So you're going to have ones that are single reed, which is like this one. You're going to have double reeds, which is like this wood one. And there's even a triple reed in here. 3 of them. And they all sound a little different. So go to your local store, give it a few calls. I would say if you're brand new to duck hunting, get a double reed. Double reeds are a little bit more forgiving. You can't get as maybe high end of a sound out of a double reed as you could a single reed, but it's gonna be able to cover over some of your mistakes and give you an easier go into the duck hunting world. So get a double reed. That's my recommendation when it comes to reed numbers. But you're gonna see singles, doubles, and even some triples. I don't think they make a 4, but who knows? Maybe they'll have a quad one day. On the other type, most of these duck calls mimic hen mallards. Most of them, you're mimicking the call that a hen would make, but there are a few that mimic other sounds. So I have one here. This is a blue-winged teal call. That sounds like a blue wing. Then you have this one here that's supposed to sound like a drake mallard. So as the kind of like the bleat that they make, these are really good. But this call right here, this whistle, I would highly, highly, highly recommend. It's a very good entry-level call. In fact, when I'm duck hunting with my 7-year-old son, he uses a whistle and he calls when I call. So especially if you're hunting with people in team, if they're good duck callers and they have, they've been doing it for years and they can mimic those sounds really well, buy yourself a whistle, ask them if you can blow it, because sometimes people are particular. Buy yourself a whistle, and with their permission, call alongside them using this simple whistle. You can literally go like that, and that will help build a fuller sound in the duck call spread, which can then make ducks more confident to land in your area. So get a whistle. These are super cheap. I think $10 is all I paid for mine. But you can mimic pintail, you can mimic Drake mallards, you can mimic widgeon, you can mimic teal, you can do a bunch of different stuff, and there's ways that you can learn all those different techniques. Again, check out my other video that I've made a few years back on how to make these sounds. But get a whistle necessary for any lanyard. So I'm going to go through my lanyard here real quick. So as you can see, I have a few different calls on mine. This is not a duck call. This is my dog whistle for my dog. I have a wood call because if it's for me where I hunt, if it's like cloudy and overcast, I actually really like the wood call. It feels better in the fog. But I also hunt a ton of open water, so that's why I have my acrylic call here. I have a Drake mallard call. The reason I have this on my lanyard is because it sounds a little bit better than the 7-in-1 whistle. And when later in season for me, when ducks get a little bit more call shy, I will stay away, especially from the acrylic, and I will only blow on this Drake mallard call because I feel like that gives me a little bit more success. And then I have obviously the 7-in-1 whistle. I even have a thing called the finisher, which is if I have cripples or something like that, this helps me dispatch them well. So that's my call. Now, or my lanyard, you'll see guys that have a lot less calls on a lanyard, maybe one or two, and guys that look like they're just blinged out and they have a ton of calls on their lanyard. I go with only these, 1, 2, 3, 4. Only these 4, and I feel like for me this fits every situation that I've ever had to hunt in. And then from there, I would say my recommendations for what call you should buy as a new duck hunter, it's very, very, very simple. I would go with this one. If I had to pick one call that I had to tell everyone to buy, it's this wood call. This is a Jace Robertson Pro Series. It's actually made by the guys at Duck Commander, and it's incredibly affordable. I think it's $35. It sounds really good. And you don't need a lot of air pressure or training to do it well. So I would go with this call, bar none, Jace Robertson Pro Series by Duck Commander. They come in different types of wood, and you can look up what those different wood densities do and how they affect the sound. I went with this one. I really like it. So buy this one if you're only going to get one. And then if you're going to get a second, I would say get a whistle. Whistles are non-negotiable to me. Always going to have one of those. So with that being said, man, if you guys have any questions, please shoot me a comment because that helps me. I interact a ton with people in the comment section. And so, yeah, if you have a question about any of these calls or different ones, please let me know. And if you like this video, you're probably going to like the one I did about how to duck call, so check that one out. And if you like this one, you're probably going to like other ones as well, so hit subscribe. That helps me as I kind of grow this channel more and more. We're going to be putting out a ton more videos here in the near future as we kind of go head deep into this YouTube thing. So if you want to be on that front edge and you want to be able to say that you've been with me all along, now's the time to hit subscribe. You get to join me in that journey. So with that, thanks for watching, and we'll check you on the next one.